This is John.
Hello, hello. Are you ready for the interview?
Hello. I am.
Finally, we can do it without any problems.
Well, let's not jump to any conclusions. I don't know. Who knows?
So, thank you for agreeing to join us once again.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. Glad to be here. I'm actually driving home and then I'm going to swap my car with my wife and drive to a voiceover.
Wow, do you ever get some time off?
Never, ever. But I don't want time off. Time off is, all I do is sit and play words with friends. So not having time off keeps me busy and moving.
We should introduce you to a game called Cards Against Humanity.
I've heard of it and I've never played it. I've heard it's hilarious.
It really is, and there's a great online version.
Oh, really? So where do you buy it? Like if I wanted to buy just the brick and mortar version.
Um, you can get it from any hobby shop or Amazon sells it, but there's a lot of decks to it. That's why the online version's so nice.
Oh, I see. I see. Well, cool. So what's going on?
Well, we've got a bunch of fans waiting to ask you questions.
Well, ask away. I've got a bunch of fans ready to give you answers.
Now, I'm not sure if we asked you this last time, but this is kind of a thing that we ask all the guests. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Vanilla. No, no. Excuse me. Chocolate chip,
Yes!
which is vanilla with chocolate chips in it.
Anything with chocolate is good.
Yes, which I just heard on the radio today that there's could be a shortage of chocolate
No.
coming.
That would be horrible. That's like a
I
shortage of
I
bacon.
think it's yeah. Well, I know, and if with chocolate covered bacon, forget it. That's right out. But no, I think it's because like a lot of one of the top producers of cocoa is one of the countries in Africa that's being hit with Ebola, like
Oh.
Guinea or something like that. I'm not sure exactly, but anyway, so they'll find a way around it. Hershey's will not, they'll
What?
they'll come through.
Well, isn't Hershey's mostly using stuff other than cocoa now anyway?
I don't know. I'm not in the chocolate business. I thought it all comes from cocoa. So
That's Oh,
I
you made
think I
this stream
think
cry.
if we would let the XL pipeline come from Canada, we could probably find a way to turn oil into chocolate, and then we just have a pipeline of chocolate.
That would be a dream come true.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine a pipeline of chocolate? It would be better than Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, having a chocolate river.
Oh, that would be amazing.
It would be. Now I've got a hankering for chocolate.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's easy to solve. I mean,
At least for now.
at least for now, right?
Once the chocolate's gone, the end of the world comes.
Right, right. First the zombies, then no more chocolate, and then the end of the world. It's the zombie chocolate apocalypse.
That needs to become a book or a movie.
All right, I'll get on it.
Alright, so our first question is what has been your favorite character to voice?
We get asked that as voice actors. We get asked that a lot, and it's really a tough thing to answer because they're all different and they're all fun. So I was working on a show yesterday down here in Houston at Sentai, and I played a couple of characters. They were supporting characters, and they were fun. I mean, it was fun to do because the work you're currently doing is always the most fun. And it's, I mean, obviously Lord Death was a fun one to do, but so was Undertaker and so was Crocodile and even Gosaburo from My Bride is a Mermaid, which was, it was fun, but it was brutal because every line is just, he screams every line and it just ragged my throat out. So it was difficult, but it was still fun. Um, I would say though, I guess if you pin me down, I would say one of the ones I have the most fun with is it's not necessarily my favorite, but it's just the one I think I have the most fun with is Kogoro from Sergeant Frog, because and I haven't done it in a long time, but it's every line is just exaggerated and over the top bad acting, and I love doing that. So it's you know every line is like he'll go ha ha ha, welcome to here now you are there, I mean, it's just so I'd work with Joel McDonald, the director, and we would just rewrite stuff because it just had to sound bad and not right. So it was a lot of fun just to kind of be silly. So
So,
anyway, but
sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, if given the choice, would you play a hero or a villain role?
Oh, always play a villain. Always a villain.
The overdramatic villainy.
Yes. Well, villains are just more fun because they're villainy. So, and villains get to do more fun things. I mean, they just get to be weirder, and they get to, the hero's always just usually you know, the normal person. So, now what's really kind of fun is if you play like a villain who's kind of the hero, you know, like I did a show called Coyote Ragtime, and Mister is the lead character, and he's a good guy, and he's kind of the hero, but he's not a great guy. He's it's like saying the hero of this is the motorcycle gang leader. Well, he's not a great guy in the world of people, but he's the hero. So you get to have a lot of fun with things like that.
So the anti-hero, kind of.
The anti-hero. Yeah, exactly.
Now, Dam asked, did you have fun playing Vulcan?
Oh yes, he was very fun. Again, that's one of those characters that you get to really stretch using a fun voice. Um, and he kind of talked like this, and it was real charactery and cartoony, which was always fun. And I played opposite Hilary Haig, who's just a wonderful voice actress, and she was my counterpart, my sidekick. But yeah, it was a lot of fun doing Vulcan in Orphan.
They
So
need to do another Orphan.
I would love it if they did another Orphan. That would be huge. I'd be all over that.
Well, I know they wrote a couple years ago. They wrote a new book, and it was like Orphan versus Slayers. I'd love to see that become an anime.
Yeah, that would be cool too. It just depends on if they think they can make money on it.
Now, what exactly got you into doing voice acting?
I started doing. Sorry, I was having to
It's
deliver a
okay.
message. So I started out, hey, Chewy, shh. I started out as an actor. I still do act, but I started doing, commercials and television and stuff like that. And then I got into voiceovers, doing just radio commercials and things like that. And then one day, hang on one second, I'm starting my car.
It's the most
Okay.
unique interview I've done.
I know. I'm just traveling all over this place here. So one day I used to be in a band called the PC Cowboys. It's politically correct country and western music, and it was a comedy act. And as a matter of fact, you can find our CDs on iTunes. So a little plug there. But anyway, so what happened was we were doing a show, and this guy was our opening act. His name is Jason Lee. And we were just talking backstage before the show, and he said, "Yeah, I do comedy, but I also do a lot of voice work." And I was like, "Really? I do a lot of voice work too. And where do you do your stuff? Because I've never seen you. I've never, met you before. And the voiceover world is not huge in Houston, so you generally tend to know some of the other people." And he said, "Well, I do this thing called anime. This is probably 1996." He goes, "I do this thing called anime." And I'm like, what's that? He goes, "Well, it's Japanese animation, and we dub it into English." I was like, "Really? That's pretty cool." And he goes, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, my girlfriend is a director. I could get you an audition if you'd like." And I was like, "Sure, that'd be great." So he, sets it up, and I go to ADV and walk in. I was like, "Well, this is kind of weird." And I met the director and talked to her, and she was like, "Okay, so here are your lines, and you'll just, when you see the When you see it and then you hear the Japanese, you just start talking. I was like, okay, and which character am I? And she pointed it out and everything. And so we go, okay, let's do it. And we started to record, and I just sat there. I didn't understand at all what I was to be doing. And they were like, okay, John, you've actually got to say the lines. I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. So we tried it, and I just bombed. Bottom line is, I just totally stunk, and it was awful and horrific, and I left. And they were like, well, thanks a lot, and we'll let you know. And I just was like, sat in my car, and I was just like, God, John, that was the worst audition you've ever done in your life. And so I decided, you know what? I know I can do better. So I went back in and I said, I know you guys have other people, but if you could squeeze me in, I think I can do a better job than what I just did. And they were like, okay. So I went back in and then just kind of went nuts doing all these different. Oh, yeah. So I went back in and I started doing a bunch of weird, crazy voices. And they're like, oh, okay, that was much better. So I ended up getting cast, and I did a show. My first show was called Golden Boy. And I just kind of started there, and that was 1996, I think. And as ADV grew and the industry grew and stuff, I grew right along with them. And at the height of their popularity, we had studios, like 5 recording studios running from 9 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, and just pumping out tons of anime. And so I was able to, I was just lucky that the at the time the number one producer of anime was right here in Houston. So and then of course Funimation started, and I started going up there, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Now
So
you've acted in front of the camera, behind the camera as a voice actor. Which do you prefer doing more?
I actually prefer voice acting because I don't have to shave. But I enjoy it all. I mean, it's all fun. But I think being a voice actor has helped me be a better in front of the camera actor too.
Oh,
But I do like, I mean, I think I may have mentioned this last time we did our interview, but we just finished a movie that'll be out hopefully in the first quarter of 2015. It's an animated movie called The Perfect Con, Khan. It's about a character named Khan who's kind of a diamond thief super spy, and he battles evil villains in the world. And in fact, one of the villains is played by Vic Mignogna, and it's a funny story. It had already been animated, and we just took it and rewrote the script and kind of made it a humorous, funny kind of movie. So keep your
definitely.
eyes open for that, folks.
That's definitely something I want to check out.
And I think we're going to do too. I think we're going to do. Tell me what you think of this idea. I think, because distribution is your main, not your enemy, but that's always the tough thing. You can make a great movie or a great whatever, but if you can't get it in front of people, then who's going to watch it? Who's going to buy it? And I'm
Exactly.
thinking we may do a thing where, let's say you watch it and you can like download a code, and you buy it for whatever the price is, $5.99 or whatever, and you download a code. And if you get somebody to buy it, like you have a friend and you go, hey, you should buy this movie and use this code, then they buy it for $5.99 and you make like $1.99. So you get to share in the profit of the movie by helping distribute it.
I That actually sounds like a really good idea, and I know the Sinners would be more than willing to help you. We could do a
I
review
mean,
of it.
I think it just, you could make, I mean, if you just got 2 people to buy it, or 3 people, you'd make your money back. I mean, but I think, that's the great thing about the internet now is that it just can help people that, you don't have to make the big record deal or the big movie deal. You can do it yourself, and I mean, you see record or bands doing that. I think it was Radiohead, I think. Do you know Radiohead?
Yeah, I think they did something with the internet. A lot of the bands have been doing it.
Yeah, no. In fact, I think even in Radiohead's case, they just said, just pay whatever you want. They still made like, hundreds of millions of dollars because everyone was like, that's the coolest thing. That's the way it should be. You're cool. So I'm going to give you more money than I was going to do in the first place, So anyway, yeah, we're very excited about it and really have high hopes. And if it works and does what we'd like it to do, then we're gonna, we'll be able to do more and create more content and get more stuff out there. And that's the dream. So
Well, the Sinners
we'll
are
see.
happy to promote it for you.
Well, thank you, thank you. So now you all are in Florida, is that right?
Well, our group is actually all around
Or
the world, but I'm in Florida, yeah.
okay, because I know y'all were facing some major storms not too long ago, right?
We had a tornado touchdown near me.
Yikes! So I hope everyone is okay.
Yeah, it actually didn't hurt anyone, so we were really lucky there.
Oh, good, good, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So how many sinners do you have, do you think?
Well, for our fan base, we have over 1,000, and working for us, we have about 7 from all over the
Gotcha.
world.
That's very cool. Very, very cool indeed.
And we're always looking for more people,
Well,
so
we'll keep
come
you in the loop
join
on
us.
the movie.
Join
Right.
us. We have one of them yelling Northern
So do
Ireland
you have any
here,
more
and we
questions?
love you. I do. You're also a director for some of the animes. How does it feel being an actor and then having to direct other actors?
Um, it's a lot of fun. I haven't directed in a while. I, when I was directing, I did worked at ADV, and I've actually got a project right now I'm working on where I'm co-directing. It's a live action Japanese movie. It's a
Oh.
series of 3 movies called Big Bad Mama-san, and it's a lot of fun. They're fun kind of Japanese truck drivers, and there's a little bit, they're R-rated films. They're not the youngins, but they're pretty funny, And again, we kept the storyline, but we kind of changed it up and made them all a bunch of Texas rednecks and that kind of thing. So, but directing, I mean, I love directing, and it's what I have to be careful of is I think it's important to let the actor. You want to guide them, but you want them to do their performance. You don't want to sit there and give them a line read and go, do it just like this. I mean, you want them to bring their thing to the table and not just. So sometimes especially when I first started, I'd have an idea of how I'd want a line delivered, and I'd have to, I could tell them that, but I'd also want to hear what they had, because, it's not, my way is not always the best way. And that's why it really is it's a very collaborative effort, when you're doing this, because on one level, you're doing the ADR. You're just replacing what the Japanese actor originally did. So you have to kind of stay true to that. You can't just go in there and willy-nilly change it all up however you want. But you're also bringing it to life in English. And so you kind of have the freedom, you don't want to change it up too much, but you want to have, the ability to give it your own spin, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know that sounds like a little contradictory, thing, but it's just a kind of a dance, and you have to it's that fine line of, you're not changing the meaning or anything like that, but you want to give it your own spin. And frankly, I think that, and you may have some folks listening that would disagree, but I think that, it's the dubbing of the anime into English that's making it grow as fast as it is, because you certainly have your folks that are, like, well, we only watch dubs. We don't watch subs. I mean, we only watch subs. We don't watch dubs, so they want to watch it in the Japanese and just have a subtitle. But I think, there's people that want to hear it in English, and that's really expanded the base, and so they may not have been exposed to it otherwise, so we we do get to, kind of bring it to life in our own way. And so as a director, I'm kind of spinning around here, but as a director, it, well, I lost my train of thought. So Anyway, I love directing. There's my answer.
Do you find it a little easier to direct other voice actors being one yourself because you're a little maybe more understanding with them in the booth as opposed to somebody that's never actually voice act that's doing the directing?
Saying is, being a director and a voice actor, one has helped the other get better. So being a voice actor has helped me be a better director, and being a director has helped me be a better voice actor. So, but not everyone is necessarily up for directing. Uh, I've worked with some directors that are better than others, and it just is what it is. But I just think as a director, I try to, what's important is to let the actor really bring what they've got, let their talent shine and not try to micromanage them and over direct. So anyway,
Good way
there
of
you go.
looking at it. We have a question. How was it doing? Oh, whoops, wrong one. How was it hard to do the script adaptation for such animes as Jinxie? Jinky?
Jinky extends.
Yes.
No, that was easy. Because the way the process works is you get the script, it's in Japanese, and then you have somebody translate it. And then you take the translation and you have a writer who will then look at the lip flaps and say the tree falls in the forest. That's the translation. So but the translation may say, like the tree in the forest is in a state of fall, or something like that, because when you translate stuff literally, it's the way the word structure is. So you have to go through that and then go, you look at the lip flaps and it's got 15 lip flaps. So you have to come up with 15 syllables that get the point across that the tree has fallen in the forest. And so once you've done that, hopefully if you've got a really good script writer, it makes life really easy. But sometimes you have to work right from the translation. Yesterday, for instance, I was working with Kyle Jones, who's a good friend of mine and an anime director at Sentai. And he was like, dude, we got to work. We're working on the translation on this one. We don't have a script. So, fortunately, he's a really good writer and can kind of write on the fly. And that's kind of the way it was. Now, Jinky Extend, we had it written. And, the only thing I would do is if lines didn't quite fit, I would change them around or rewrite or something like that. But I had a really good cast for that show. And that was, I think, Brittany Karbowski's very first show as a lead. And she was great to work with. And Monica Rial was in it. And a bunch of folks. And, again, when you work with such a really strong cast, being the director is easy. And then if you have a great script on top of that, it really makes life easy. So that was a example of where all of those elements came together perfectly.
Now, from doing that to video games, how different is it doing an anime dubbing to doing voicing in a video game?
Okay, so in an anime, it's already drawn, it's already animated, and you're having to match lip flaps. So you're having to fit your line in this predetermined pattern. In a video game, and you usually do like one or two lines at a time, you're not doing a whole scene. In a video game, though, you may have storyboards and there might be some rough animation, but they haven't really animated it yet. So you're getting to do what's called, they refer to it as doing prelay, where you get to record things and then they're going to animate around the lines that they select. So, and then you'll do like when I was doing Borderlands 2, Salvador has to have, we're going to do a bunch of reactions where you get shot. So you'll go, and it's like, there might be 15 versions of being shot. And then there's, you'll just do these lines wild. So in anime, if you can do about, I mean, when we started doing anime, it's like if you could do about 15 to 20 cues an hour, we're moving along at a good pace. But now we've been doing it so long, we can really move along and do like, 50 or 60 an hour. But when you're doing video games, you're probably going to do, over 100 cues an hour, because you don't have to waste time trying to line it up and make it fit. You're just going for it, and then they'll make it fit later. So both are a lot of fun. They're just different types of work. But video games, just as by nature, pay more, and they don't take as long. So that's, I think what everyone prefers. But
You hear that, guys? For those looking to go into dubbing, just go into video games.
well, I wouldn't do that either unless you're, Steve Blum or Blum, sorry, Steve Blum. But that's the thing about voiceover. Nobody does just one type of thing unless you're somebody that's, working for Disney or, somebody like that. But even then, I was at a convention about a month ago and met Billy West. And, even somebody like Billy West is doing all kinds of things. It's not just one deal. So never limit yourself, all you want to be voice actors. Go for it all. You may find that you're more adept at doing something than something else, but don't limit yourself. So there's John's little advice for the day.
I'm so glad you brought up conventions.
Good.
What has been the silliest thing that's happened at conventions to you?
Oh my gosh, I have so many silly things that's happened at conventions. There's just not enough time to tell it all. But I had somebody ask me if I would lick their hand.
Why?
What?
Why?
I don't know. It was at a convention in Phoenix, Arizona. They were like, "Would you lick my hand?" I'm like, "No." No, I won't. But no, yeah, conventions are great. They're such great fun, and I'm hoping to do a lot more conventions this coming year. I've only done about 6 or so this year, and I'd like to ramp that up to about 15 or so for next year, because it's great to do conventions for numerous reasons. Not the least of which is it's just great to get out and meet the people who love to watch anime and get to know them and say thank you for, helping support the industry. Because I think it's things like your show and the conventions that are behind the success of the industry. I mean, it's creating the buzz, and it's awesome. I mean, when I first started doing anime, there might be a convention a month somewhere. Now there's like 5 or 6 a week somewhere. I mean, it's just, going from like one convention somewhere in the world to, 20 in a month is incredible, and it's a great way for these, fans, be them old, young, or whatever, to get together and be with their friends. And, people we used to joke about, or there was a debate, if a convention wanted to have John Swasey at the convention, that's great. Is it going to make people come to the convention because I'm there or not, And I just maintain it doesn't matter if it's me or Vic or Steve or, any of them. I mean, we're all voice actors, because they're going to come to that convention anyway. That's where they're going to hang out with their friends and, establish or maintain, continue whatever new relationships or existing relationship. Okay. My first convention, though, was a lot of fun, and I was terrified because I was afraid I was going to be a disappointment to everyone, because I couldn't believe, why would anybody want to see me? What have I done? I'm nothing special. So yeah, it was it was a wild deal. I know. I will tell you a funny story real quick, and then I'm getting close to my voice over.
This might have to be the last things. I think Skype's not going to work too well.
But we, I I went to Ireland for a convention.
Oh, how was Ireland?
I know. I went to Ireland for a convention, and the Ireland was magnificent. I mean, it was just the best. And but I took my wife with me, and she was like, you know, she'd never been to an anime convention. And I told her, I said, honey, I don't really know how to tell you this, so I'm just gonna say it, so don't be mad. But I kind of pulled a Ron Burgundy, and I was just like, so in anime, I'm kind of a big deal. She goes, what are you talking about? So, well, I don't mean it like that. I'm not trying to brag or anything. I'm just telling you that I kind of, people, it's a celebrity thing. I mean, not, I can't walk into a grocery store and everyone just flips out because I'm in there. But in the niche of anime, if, I'm at a convention, somebody may go want my autograph or, and then she's like, yeah, whatever. I said, well, that's the whole reason I'm even invited. Then we're going to Ireland. And she's like, okay, whatever. So we get to Ireland, and we walk through customs and get our baggage and everything. And as we're walking out into the front of the airport, there's like, 5 or 6 people there with signs going, hey, John Swasey, we love you, and blah, blah. And she's like, oh, my gosh. And so anyway, we're sitting there and we're talking to my handler. And she goes, she talks to my wife, and my wife told me this later. She goes, you're so lucky. And like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, you're married to John Swasey. I mean, you get to live with him, you get to be with him, you get to sleep with him. And my wife said, yeah, it's not that big a deal. So it's like, well, thank you, honey. You're awesome. Thank you for your great PR. So anyway.
She's a keeper.
She is. I've kept her. I'm not going to let her go. Anywho, so you have 1 or 2 more questions, because I've got to step off again, because I'm at this voiceover.
Well, it seems like Skype keeps breaking up. So
would it be better to do it again from a computer?
Yes, we'd always love to have you back.
Okay. Well, let me do it again from a computer.
All right. We can.
Now, is this a live thing, or do you is it like a podcast kind of thing?
We do it live in front of the fans, so they can ask you questions and stuff.
Okay.
And maybe when you come back again, we can show you Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, let's do that.
Sweet. You won't regret this.
Oh, nice. Well, you want to do it in December, or when do you want to do it?
December's fantastic. We can do it as an early birthday present to me.
Fantastic. When is your birthday?
27th of December.
Oh, yes. Well, let's do it. So I leave to go out of town on like the 21st. So let's do it before that.
Sounds good. I'll have my manager set everything up with you.
Fantastic. Well, it's always a pleasure to talk with you, and I'm glad that we get to do it again soon.
I can't wait, and thank you so much for coming back on, and let's hope Skype behaves next time.
You got it. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Skype hates us.